feel like it's been so fucking long since we've done one of these.
So long, bro.
Like these penises. I said this guy was at work and he was outside, right? He was outside trying to like give you some ambience right now. Yeah, dude, check this shit out. I'll get you all the ambience. But this guy was at work and I was giving him a TV. I'm bringing it out to him, and he goes, "What the fuck? This is janky." He goes, "God damn, this is fucking huge." And I'm like going to lunch, and I was like, "That's what she said." And he goes, "No, it's not." Just like kind of fucking sad coming from like a random ass customer.
My favorite, that's what she said jokes are just the like self-deprecating ones.
That like the ones where it's like, God damn, that's like super little.
It's like,
that's what she said.
Yeah, that didn't last as long as I thought it was going to. It's kind of disappointing. And it's like, that's what she said. But you say it with confidence, so you're like, that's what she said.
That's
like,
what she said.
What?
Hey, some people are into like super little penises.
Yeah.
Probably not that many people, but some people. It's like foot fetishes. It's like people are into it.
I knew a girl that
actually,
was...
there's probably a surprising amount of people who are into foot fetishes who are not into small penises.
I knew a girl who was afraid of penetration.
That's a little strange, but not that strange. I actually dated a girl that I remember lesbian. Her first and last name, who wasn't lesbian, who was terrified of penetration. Actually, she was terrified to give head. She said, "I would much rather have sex than give you head ever." And I was like, "Is there something wrong with my penis?" And she was like, "No, it just scares the ever-living shit out of me that a penis is going to go in my mouth."
I can see it.
Why? I'd suck my own penis. No, I'm not afraid.
There was a long time where I was like, I wouldn't suck my own penis because that's gay. But now I'm just like, now I've kind of dropped that, and I'm like, I don't care.
Can reach it.
I don't. Well, sure, yeah. I can get my mouth all the way to my butthole, but like I can't suck my own penis. It's too small. It's like a turtle head, bro. It hides when I come around.
Yeah, the closer you get, the further in it goes. Jesus Christ.
But no, now I'm like, now I've kind of reevaluated in my life, and I'm like, I really don't care. I don't want to like label my sexuality because you never know what's gonna happen. You never know if there's like a guy or a trans woman that like that checks all of your boxes or something.
Oh, yeah.
And the only box that is not checked is your preferred genitalia or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would let that get between me and a relationship. I mean, I don't ever really have to worry about that. I don't think.
Like,
I'm engaged.
Yeah. Unless she like broke down the walls and was like, "Fuck it,
yeah.
Open relationship."
I mean, even if there was an open relationship, I'm not the kind that's gonna like go out and meet anybody. I don't care.
Yeah, even if you are doing a podcast with them right now, you know. No, I'm not putting you on the spot to make a decision to fuck me. This guy at work always says that he always flirts with me. He's just like, he looks like Wiz Khalifa. He has tats on his face and everything. Super good looking black dude, and he jokes with me all the time, about like wanting to fuck me and shit. And then yesterday he works, and I was like, "But would you though?" And I said it so fucking serious. Like, I tried to be as sincere as possible, and I was like, "But would you fuck me though?" And he was so blown away by the sincerity of the question. He was like, "Oh, bro, what the fuck? That seems so real." And I was like, "Bro, you're hitting on me all the time. Would you fuck me?" And he was like, "Maybe." And then he clocked out and left. I was like, I like the mystery here. I like the mystery. That shit's funny.
I had man. I used to. So I don't think I was ever like homophobic in the way that I didn't like gay people at all. Like, I've always been very accepting. Well, it's your life, live it however you want to. I'm not gonna get in there fucking
should be how you think.
But man, I was one of the most crushing things for me, it was so hard to understand until I like sat and thought about it for a bit. But I sat next to this kid in chorus, and his name was Kenneth, and he was gay. And I didn't realize for a long time. But he was talking about I think it was like man, it was so stereotypical. He was like in love with the number one athlete in the school. I forgot what his name was.
Okay.
But he was like, oh man, I'm in love with him, man. And I was like, that's cool. How would you rate me? And he was like, when I look at you, I don't really see anything.
Yeah.
It's just like a blank piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but you're gay. And I was like, and so it took me a while, and I was like,
just because
well, that's really stupid of me to think like that.
Yeah.
Like, they're of course they're gonna have different preferences and stuff.
Yeah, and it's crazy that some people are like, oh, there's a girl who, you know, like if it was like one lesbian to another and to like a straight woman, that straight woman is sometimes like terrified that fucking lesbian chick is gonna come on to her or like fucking rape her for some reason, which is so strangely carried over from like our perceptions of like heterosexual people one to the other. Like if one straight guy is in a room with another girl who's like potentially, it doesn't matter if they're heterosexual or not, if there's a heterosexual man in a room with a woman, he might fucking rape her, which is just this strange like projection of fear. And I get it, like, you know, we should be scared of whatever, you know, because fear is a drive. But at the same time, dude, it's like that projection of like your own insecurities of like, oh, you know, like what are they gonna do to me is pretty fucking strange. I mean, I've been friends with Drew since like, you know, for 7 years.
Yeah,
he had been spending the night at my house for, you know, I don't know, like 6 months to almost a year before he told me that he was officially gay. I mean, I fucking knew he was, but like
before he came out to you.
Yeah, he like, yeah, dropped literally like every hint except for that he was. And then, you know, we were sitting at Rosa's and he was just like, oh, Ronnie, I'm gay. And I was like, yeah. And it wasn't like a surprise or anything, but like, you know, it didn't stop me from having him like come over every fucking other day, and he like slept in my bed like 100 times before he probably said anything about it. You know, it wasn't strange or anything, you know. And Drew never tried to fucking come on to me or anything, you know. He doesn't do it any more than that guy the Wiz Khalifa guy at work, you know. You know, we all as guys, and it for some reason men always act gay around each other when we're not gay. When we become more comfortable with each other, we always make like, you know, booty jokes and fucking I'm gonna fuck you jokes and, you know, etc. jokes, but you never do it, obviously. I mean, if you want to do it, you know, but like it becomes a comfortability thing. It's just something we do anyways, you know, from how I've always understood every guy friend I've ever had, and they do it. Once they start doing it, I'm like, okay, whatever. I just reciprocate, and I'll just like give it back to them. You call us sweet baby angels on Xbox. You know, like
Sea of Thieves. I'm the ship mom, so I take care of everything on the ship. And if anybody gets hit by a cannonball, you know, those are my little babies. I gotta protect them. I cook all the chicken for them and stuff. I keep them healthy.
If I was a stranger though, like you wouldn't talk to me like that.
Oh no, I would. Oh, on Sea of Thieves, I would, yeah.
Yeah, on Sea of Thieves, if you was a stranger.
In real life.
If you met me as a stranger, maybe. No, probably not. Most people don't.
Yeah, probably not. But
it's probably a comfortability thing, I would assume. And that's why people usually break down all these walls and start acting like way more loose around each other. And not that they're going to like actually finger pound each other's assholes, but, you know, they just, you know, become comfortable and we let those walls down, which is good.
Yeah.
But, you know, back to I guess the whole thing of like having like a phobia of other people, it seems strange. Like just because someone is gay and you're a dude, I mean, think of me, like, you know, when I think of me being heterosexual, I'm like, just because I'm around another chick doesn't mean I want to like bang another chick just because she's like in my presence. Or I look at a girl, every girl I look at, I don't like rate or I don't like, think sexually of. Of course I'm married too, but like even when I was single, I don't just look at some stranger chick and I'm just like 6, 7, 10, 1, like I don't fucking think like that, and even if they ask me to, I'm just like, I don't know, you're like a person, I don't know you at all, like we don't hang out, I have no, because the biggest thing that makes someone attractive is personality, for me at least. Like a huge cunt is not going to be someone that you like want to sleep with.
It doesn't matter if she's like
if you
perfect 10, if that
if she was a 10 but then she was like a fucking big old Karen, and that's like your first several experiences with her, you're not gonna like want to like engage with that person sexually, I would imagine, unless you're just like a fucking super horny guy and you maybe have another experience that you could probably change my state of mind. But let's say she was cool and you deal with her several times and she's cool, and then she's like a big old cunt.
For the typical population, I'm sure it would be like the experience you're describing.
Yeah, I think most people would just be like, no, fuck this.
I've been fighting with people on Facebook a lot. I've told you about this stuff.
Yeah. I see some of it too.
There was one person I got into a fight with recently because it was the gendered bathroom stuff. And they were like, like, you kind of told me about this. Am I supposed to be okay with a boy that feels like a girl, which is a stupid statement. It's a really stupid statement to say that. A boy that feels like a girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's just ignorant.
It sounds like you're like belittling the situation.
Yeah. That could just shower with my daughter now, and it's like, what do you think's going to happen? Do you think like, so firstly, this is hurdle number 1. Do you not think if somebody's going to try to sexually assault your daughter that they're going to look at the sign on the bathroom and be like, I'm not allowed in there, damn it? Like, do you really think that? Firstly. Secondly, if there's private showers and public showers nobody's forced to shower at school anyways nowadays. It's I think legislation was passed even that prohibited forcing children to shower in schools if they don't want to. There are private showers usually. When I was in school, there was private showers and communal showers if you want to do that.
I'm just seeing if those farts coming up on the waves.
And if your daughter is not showering in a private shower and she's choosing to shower in the public shower,
is, by the way, extremely rare.
Yeah,
people don't fucking students don't shower next to each other anymore. That is like a thing from like the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah,
people don't fucking shower next to each other and shit.
Yeah,
and the showers, that fart stinks. Fuck. We just had fajitas and then chocolate covered strawberries.
It's over here now.
So, god damn it. So that is a thing that has been gone for a long time. Some fucking showering with each other. I was in high school and we didn't do that shit either. And my mom asked us about that. And I've asked other people about that. You don't do that shit anymore. Not really. So it's not a fear you should have in the first place.
No. And on top of that, even past that point, if your daughter's in the public section of the showering, and a quote unquote boy that feels like a girl is showering there, that's a girl. They're probably friends. I don't think at that point your daughter cares about seeing that particular person's genitalia if they're comfortable enough to hop in the public shower with them.
I mean, at the same time, it's like someone who assumes the gender behaves as the respected gender, right? Like,
yeah.
So like if you
generally
if you're a woman, girl, I mean whatever
you identify as.
Yeah, whatever you identify as. I was saying woman or girl because I was thinking about the age of the shower, but like,
yeah.
So if you identify as a girl, then I assume that you would hold the perceptions of a girl at your age and like what you personally want as a woman, right?
Yeah.
So like, do you want to be molested? I mean, in most scenarios, you take the Kant's categorical imperative and you're like, well, I want what I want for everybody. So like, if I'm going to be molested, egoism. I want everyone else to be molested. Most people don't hold that. They don't want to be touched unless they want to be touched. And in 90% of scenarios, probably 95 or 98% of scenarios, that you're going to project whatever you want in the world. That's how most people are.
Yeah.
That's why it exists as an imperative. So, like, your daughter goes into a shower as transitioned from a boy to a girl, then I would assume you're going to behave like a fucking girl among the girls.
Yeah.
You know, and as you wouldn't want to be called out in the first place. No one wants to be like singled out. You know, I wear glasses. If someone fucking called me Four Eyes, that shit would bother me, and especially as a kid. Now it's like whatever, I guess. But, you know, when I think about that,
fucking Four Eyes.
You don't want to be singled out as a person. You wouldn't want to act.
Look at this loser over here with his
I know you're
glasses.
waiting for me to respond to you, but I'm not. You're a bully. I'm ignoring you. But you know, as someone in the shower, you would think that they would just act normal in the shower because if I was a guy going into the showers, bro, I don't want to fuck with like anyone fucking with me, or I don't want to like
boys have buttholes.
Yeah.
No, you don't see little boys.
Yeah,
well,
dude.
I don't want to say that.
I think if fucking Drew walked into a whole group of dudes in the shower, you know, I guess maybe he might think like about one or two dudes in the shower who might be slinging or something. But it's not like he's gonna go over there and start jerking somebody off and like molesting people. You know, we don't fucking people don't behave like that, and the people who would are gonna do it anyways.
Yep.
And you could say that about smoking underage or drinking underage or vaping or whatever or doing drugs. They're gonna find a way to do it. Mm-hmm. And now. In support of the other side, because I like supporting both. Yeah. But in support of the other side, according to actual fucking research, if you were to remove the catalyst that compels someone to do something, they often don't do it. So an example is, let's not use the example of a gun for suicide, right? It's the easiest way to kill yourself. Yeah. It's hands down the easiest way to kill yourself. If you don't have a gun around, most people don't kill themselves with a gun.
Yeah, your chances of committing suicide go up exponentially.
Right. They actually do. The research is profound. But a good example was I think it was in the UK. They used gas stoves. There was gas ovens, and the gas that they used didn't stink, and it was like a silent gas.
Oh yeah, like propane without any scent added to it.
Yeah, it was something, and it was funneled to like everybody's house in this, like, you know, in the UK or whatever. Uh-huh. I don't know if it was. I don't want to say it was London, but it was in the UK, I think. So they had a certain type of gas, and there was a profound poet who wrote great work, and I can't remember who it was. And she killed herself with this gas, right? She put her head in the oven, and she put her kids to bed first. She went into the kitchen, put towels at all the doors, put her head in the oven, and she died. And because the gas was just going, and it killed her. Now, she had already been struggling with suicide and stuff. Mm-hmm. And what they ended up doing was, after this happened, they realized how simple it was, and they looked at other cases, and this was fairly common. It was well known between not only poets, because poets have a unusually high rate of suicide, but it was well known that this method of like the gas being distributed was an easy way to kill yourself because it was harmless. You didn't feel it, you didn't taste it, there was no displeasure. You would just be exposed to it, and then you would die. Yeah. You'd just kind of fall asleep.
Yeah, just like taking sleeping pills or something.
When they removed the gas, which was a huge endeavor to do, they took out all these different like forms of gas from all of these houses, and it took like a little while. Yeah. The suicide rate went down exponentially. Now, don't get me wrong, people still killed themselves in whatever method. They still found guns or whatever, and the argument is that, you know, you remove the catalyst, you're less likely to do something. Yeah, it doesn't mean you remove it completely, but the idea behind it is if you remove the catalyst, you likely are removed from the idea of it long enough where you disengage with the idea. Yeah. Consider like you want to buy something on eBay, and you're like, I really want this. I'll
come back in an hour.
And you'll come back to it. You know, let's say you didn't have the money, and you're waiting around for the money. You get like 2 weeks down the line, you get the money. The odds of you buying it are actually much lower than when you would have bought it that day. Pulling the trigger, no pun intended, is easier to do when you're thinking about it much faster, like in the moment. And it being, the catalyst being closer to you is far more likely that you're going to do something with it, which is why the gun is actually the highest rated method of suicide.
Yeah.
Because all you got to do is pick it up and pull the trigger. It's very easy.
Yep.
Granted, please don't kill yourself, but like...
Quick, painless.
It's quick and painless, and most people consider it because of that. But when you remove the gun as a catalyst... You're far less likely to do it. I mean, people have asked me, like, why do I not want to, like a fucking handgun? And I'm like, because it's so easy. And, I've dealt with,
one bad day.
Yeah, one bad day, dude. And I got a lot of bad days, bro. I've had depression my whole life. Having a fucking gun around does not help that, like, idea of, like, struggling with it. Because then it's just like...
That's one of my biggest fears about getting a gun.
Yeah, man.
So I was thinking about it for a little bit, and I was like... Man, this would be really cool to actually own a gun. I'm a big like, oh man, there's a stigma around doomsday prepper, but essentially like a doomsday prepper. I have like bug out bags and stuff that I put together. I have equipment in case shit goes down.
Yeah, you
I like
talk about like
prepared.
a zombie day like all the time. Actually, I think last podcast we talked about zombies for like 25 minutes or something.
Yeah. Those are scenarios I like to. If there's a way I can be prepared for something, I would rather be prepared for it than not be prepared for it.
Dude. Even if it sounds unrealistic, I get it.
And part of that is like, what if in some scenario it would be very advantageous of me to have a gun. That would be great. He's farting in a hamper right now. He ran over to his closet and he opened up a hamper, sat in it, and farted, and closed the hamper.
And then I closed the hamper, so it doesn't stink, bro.
They're
already dirty clothes.
It's almost like one of those fabric wicker baskets. Like it's coming out of there.
I already smell it.
Yeah. That was just like a theatric. There was no practical use for that.
Yeah, I was like, it's just a theatric.
Yeah, there it is. I smell it.
Fuck.
But I wanted to get a gun.
Yeah.
One of my big worries with that is I also have been struggling with depression, as a lot of people do. And I know there have been many days where I've been sitting around staring at the wall, and I'm like, if I had a gun, this would be it. Because it would be a real easy way out. I'm not gonna botch it like my brother did. My brother attempted suicide, and he shot himself in the jaw and broke his jaw and lived, and now he's all messed up. I don't think he even understands what happened. I don't think he could comprehend, or I don't think he could understand feeling like that ever with the mental capacity he has now. Some ways that sounds nice, some ways it sounds horrible. Who knows? I don't want to ever have to make that choice. And I've talked with my fiance about it a little bit, and I was like, the only way I would ever have a gun around, which I think it would be nice to have one, would be if there was like a 2-lock system. Like, you have a key, I have a key. The only way this thing's coming out is if we both take it out.
Yeah, the only downside to that is like when you actually need it, and you're gonna get those fucking keys out,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like, some cool like Resident Evil thing where you have like 2 different special keys and like you fucking pull out the gun or you have the parts. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could like be ridiculous and have like the ammo in a separate place, and you could like get the gun, and then like she has the ammo. I mean, but even then,
I just go buy ammo.
I guess, But then you need a clip. Like, she has the clip or whatever.
The magazine.
The magazine. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's I've thought about it off and on.
You can get a shotgun, and then like the rounds could be non-fatal rounds. Like, you can get like
beanbags.
Well, they have like salt rounds. They not salt.
The rock salt.
You can get like rock salt rounds. I know there's buckshot, and there's birdshot or whatever, and that stuff is, there's less designed to be less fatal.
Yeah, so you're not ripping apart the bird that you just shot.
Yeah, and the point I've seen is like birdshot, buckshot.
Yeah,
birdshot, buckshot, and then fucking someone does like a slug at the end. And
isn't that for home defense though?
Yeah, it is. And that's why you would probably want a gun, I would think. And the shotgun makes sense because a motherfucker comes in your house and you shoot a shotgun. The first one's not intended to kill him. The first one's like, get the fuck out of my house.
Actually, owning a gun increases the likelihood that you will die in a home invasion
because you pull the gun out.
Yeah, it's a really easy tool. You could lose it in a scuffle if you're not ready, and they at that point you pull the gun out on somebody, they're probably gonna
pull their own gun out. And benefit of the doubt, most people don't want to hurt you. Most people don't want to fight. And like in most scenarios, unless you're exposing yourself to a location or a place where there is a fight to be had, like let's say you go to a bar, like a nasty bar, and then like you get it out with somebody, you're more likely to have a fight there than if you were drinking at Chili's. And I think that's probably more likely, and maybe that's an assumption about people, but my dad has told me stories where he goes to a fucking bar and he grabbed somebody and threw him over the pool table. And I'm like,
yeah,
that wouldn't have happened at Chili's, dude.
My dad has told me those stories too.
I'm like, what the fuck? Most people don't want to fight. I'm a black belt, bro, and I have been in next to no fights. I've been in one fight since I've got my black belt. People don't want to. In most scenarios, when I was in middle school, we were fighting all the time.
Yeah, hormones running wild.
But your hormones, your kids.
You're kind of dumb as a kid. So
most people just are like, fuck you, bro. And then we just get done with it. Think about Harry Potter. Like, look at all the times that, like, Malfoy mouthed up and Harry. It's a movie, but that's how most things go. Someone says something else, and then it just ends there, kind of. Most people aren't willing to, like, go to blows. Because the reality of a fight is that there is no rule on when to stop. And a fight could go south ridiculously quick. I knew a friend who fought a kid in the... Sorry, I probably need to be closer. I knew a kid who fought a guy at... they're both like 17. They fought at the Guitar Center parking lot. And they both were fucking each other up. But my friend beat the fucking shit out of this kid because he got on top of him, he scooped him, and just started wailing on him. And during the fight, he was like, stop. The guy was. And he was like, why are we even fighting? And he was like, over a girl, this shit, blah, blah, blah. And then they came to realize that that girl betrayed them both and was sleeping with literally both of those guys. And like, they ended up like resolving shit by talking, which is what they should have done in the first place.
Yeah.
And, when my friend came back from, I don't know if he got arrested or it didn't go well. He came back to me about it and he was like, man, that just teaches me that like we don't need to fight about shit and we should talk about shit first. And most people do see some sense of reason, at least a little. And people don't, there's one thing you have. There's one thing that you're going to preserve above all else, and that's your own life or someone you love. And most people won't.
As an extension of your life, probably.
Yeah. And most people aren't willing to sacrifice that thing for something trivial, such as a girl or a fucking boy or, a comment that you made in the Starbucks drive-thru or some shit where you were like, hurry up, bitch. Most people aren't willing to step out. And in most scenarios, people have already been at that breaking point where they're like, man, fuck this. This is like the 50th thing that's happened this week. This guy's fucking in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm going to blows. And that's probably where most people are at in most scenarios. Like my manager today said something simple. Like she was just like, oh, can you help this guy? And I was like, I gave her this look of scorn. And she was like, she came up to me later and was like, are you mad? And I was like, no, I'm just fucking tired of you guys like being all over us all the fucking time. Like I wasn't even done with my customer and you're already trying to get me with somebody else. Like, can I get a sip of water? Can I go take a shit? I don't have time for any of that stuff because you guys are always bouncing us to the next person. I was a hair away from going off on her and just quitting. But that's because of all the shit that's happened prior to that, where like they fired half the customers or they fired half the employees.
Yeah, fuck, you're terminated, customers.
And fuck out of here. Yeah, get the fuck. Yeah, they fired all the customers. That'd be fucking sweet. But they terminated a bunch of us and fucking. I'm making significantly less money because of it. No benefits, lost 130 hours of PTO, and shit's changed. And I'm kind of pissed off. So, they tell me to do shit, and I'm like, kind of like, man, motherfuckers. And I'm like in a bad mood automatically. So, there's a ripple effect of all the things that you go through to make those things happen.
You like somersaulted your way through like 3 different topics.
I know I did. I've been analyzing what I've been going through and where we came from. It initially came from like showers and what your Facebook fights. You want to go back to that?
No, it doesn't matter.
This is what it's like to talk.
I mean, it's so I guess the main thing, or one of the main things. Wait, no, fuck it.
Something about Facebook fights where
I'm not even on that anymore. I'm past that.
Reasonable, man. Or
people,
like the perception of
people
being like projecting their own fears and making
I
you
think
believe
projection
what they
is really,
believe.
really super real. People are
for sure. Dude. Most things are a projection of your own fears or your own insecurities. Like someone who watches cold case files all day every day, like my mother, is someone who is predisposing themselves to like being paranoid about murder and death and all that.
Yeah, even though it's such a rare thing.
Yeah, for sure. And she's like, well, someone could just break into your house and murder you. And I was like,
yeah, you could also.
Do you watch these shows? And the context of these shows is always that they knew them. It's never some stranger.
Yeah,
it's always some fucking guy who you let into your house. And this guy saw that you had a PS5 on launch day, and he was like, "Man, fuck this guy. I want a PS5." That's people aren't willing, and as I just said with fighting, people are not willing to fight most of the time. People aren't willing to do shit unless they've been pushed to like really like feel the need to do such a thing.
Whoa.
And
I'm just hitting everything right now.
It seems pretty silly to think that someone's gonna break into your house in most scenarios. Because okay, look, we live in Texas, and everybody got a fucking gun except for apparently us. But the reality is, I mean, I got like a kind of a gun, but I'm not gonna go into that. But it's definitely like a big old self-defense gun. But
yeah, I'll defend myself with my dick.
Yeah, it's just a big old fucking 18-inch penis that turns into a sword.
Well, I'll pull my pants down, and they're gonna be so confused that their whole world's gonna collapse.
Well, yeah, just
like
pee in the hallway, and when they try to run down the hallway, they slip. What was my point?
I don't know. Oh, people won't come to blows, break into houses.
We live in Texas, bro. Everybody got guns. Everybody got guns. No one in their fucking right mind is going to walk into somebody else's house and steal shit when you're home for some shit that you got. Don't throw away your fucking LG 70-inch box outside your house after Black Friday. Someone's going to break into your shit when you're not home.
Yeah, fold that shit up, put it in the garage.
And then on recycle day, put that bitch in the recycling bin.
Yeah, or put it in a fire pit and burn it.
Yeah. But, just or be smarter than you are.
Cut one side of it and then fold it all out on your garage floor so you can paint on it.
Or fold it all the way out and then break dance on it.
True.
There you go.
True.
Yeah.
That's probably a better use.
First you need like an orange beanie, though. Go buy an orange beanie. I think that's what you
Fingerless gloves.
Uh-huh. Baggy pants.
And an old style boombox.
They sell those. They're cool. They're stupid, but they're cool. They're cool because they're thin. That's why I like them.
Do you think if somebody... Okay, how do you feel about... self-defense? About using gun for self-defense?
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm a black belt. I literally went through years of training.
So if somebody were to break into your house...
beat up like every day. I was tired of that shit.
Yeah. If somebody were to break into this house right here...
And then as soon as I was done... I never got beat up, which kind of it does not that it doesn't suck.
Yeah, I never got into any fights after I started learning martial arts.
Yeah, it's like it all went away.
Yep, I got into a lot of fights on play. Well, not a lot. I got into like maybe 3 or 4 fights in my time, but they were all like sub 6th grade fights, so they weren't like terribly dangerous.
I got
or anything.
one in like sophomore year, and I strangled him, and it was over. It was over in seconds. It was a really pathetic fight. I think I told it on the podcast, and. He went to like
tell me.
He was like, oh, how should I do it? Double spin kick, dumb fucking crescent spinning jump kick or whatever. And he was like, oh, I've done MMA, I've done fucking, I've done jujitsu, mixed martial art. He was fucking going off. And I was like, and there's 2 girls he's trying to impress, Jamie and Alex. And I was just standing there like, just do it. Just whatever you gotta do, just do it. And it was freshly rained, and he jumped. Did the spinning kick. When he landed, he fell so fucking hard, and he fell away from me. So I just ran up and I fucking choked his ass out. I just went behind him, choked him out, pulled him to the ground, and then he starts tapping out and freaking out. And then he got up, and I was like, okay, that's the end of that. And that fight was over in maybe 14 seconds. Only quote unquote fight I've really been in since I was like a black belt. It's just it's just like,
Are you ever disappointed by that?
Only a little, because I would have liked to see like what I could have done. I mean, I have trophies for like the tournaments I was in and stuff. And I have a couple first place trophies for fighting and stuff like that, but I just never did it after that. The tournaments were cool. It's exhausting as shit because you're fighting for like ever, but it's cool.
I think one big thing with me for fights is I don't ever want to, I don't really want to get into fights. I never look at somebody and I'm like, man, I want to fight them so bad. Usually I'm like, I wonder if I could or not. I wonder how they would perform. And I run through a little scenario in my head and I'm like, that's good enough for me. I feel like, contrary to what like Kaylee would say, my Kaylee would say, I'm pretty empathetic.
Pretty passive.
Yeah. I can put myself in the shoes of a lot of different scenarios.
You should, yeah.
And when I think about fighting, I'm like, man, what if I was like in a fight with somebody and they fucking like were just jacking my shit up? That would suck ass. When we could just fucking argue with words about this and come to like,
which sometimes gets you more heated though.
Yeah, and you can have disagreements and stuff, but at some point you're gonna
but you might go to blows over some shit you say.
Maybe. I know I've been in a lot of screaming matches where I'm like, this might end up in a fight. I don't want to.
I've only thought about fighting one person, and I'm not gonna say who it is, but I've thought about fighting one person, and I've like imagined myself kicking their ass, and I was like,
to start with an L or a D.
Yeah, you know. But I didn't, because I'm more reasonable than that. But I feel you, man. I mean, sometimes you think it's gonna go to blows, and then you just have to realize that it's not gonna benefit anybody.
No,
you or the guy involved or whoever is gonna be. It could be a fucking lawsuit. It could be a hospitalization. I know with that person, I would have fucking ruined their fucking life. So it's like, for someone who, and I know that person couldn't fight, so it's not fair. And my own philosophy would deter me entirely. But you gotta think of that shit too. It's like, what am I doing to this person? Am I like is it worth a lawsuit, 8-month court battle, a settlement, and then like a hospitalization for the both of us, or our cars got to get fucked up, or a ruined relationship forever? No, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
How do I feel about self-defense with guns and shit?
Yeah. So if somebody broke into your house, right? If somebody broke into your house, do you think you'd feel morally justified in shooting that person?
I don't know if this is necessarily the wisest conversation to have on a podcast on the internet, but I think at the same time, like I've said, I don't think anyone wants to hurt anybody, really.
Yeah.
And I think the person breaking in doesn't want to hurt you, really. Why would they? I mean, why would anyone want to hurt someone they don't know? Mm-hmm. Most anger is built out of some sense of rage.
Yeah.
Or some sense of hate, rather. Hate stems from some sense of misunderstanding or some catalyst that leads to hate. People don't hate people for no reason. People hate people for who they are, what they've done, what they believe, and what they do. I said done and do. It's the same thing. But people don't just come out of nowhere with violence, really. No one is going to walk up to anybody out of nowhere. Not real. In 99.9% of scenarios, people are not going to walk up to one random person and fucking kill them or throw a punch or whatever, because no one really thinks like that. And if you're preparing your life for a fucking psychopath to come across your life in some random scenario, look, man, you're prepared for the 0.1% that I'm not prepared for, even though I've done all those years of martial arts and stuff. But with a gun or something like that, I think maybe I would shoot to like non-lethal.
Yeah.
I mean, I practiced gun shooting a bunch when I was a kid, and I'm really fucking good at shooting. I'm unusually good at shooting with a rifle, but I would shoot to like non-lethal. And,
sure.
And if you think that's dumb, so be it.
No, I don't think it's dumb.
No, I mean like the public. If
right.
Whoever's listening, if you think that's dumb, then like, look, man, like I'm not you.
Yeah, that's just the way you choose to go about your own moral system.
I love people, and I love life. There's no way we don't have any idea what happens. It's 300 million years of complete mystery. So if you're going to tell me that you're going to kill somebody, you're also taking the bank that you like have some pride in like knowing what's going to happen next to that person or what's going to happen to you. I love people way too much, and the greatest gift is life. So if you're going to like if I'm going to try to take away the greatest thing that you've ever had, even if your life hasn't been great and you had abuse as a kid or whatever, you had what everybody loses. And you have life. You have a chance. And life is a huge chance that you can do whatever you want with it. And if you're going to kill somebody, you're taking away all possibilities for that person that you are certain of. Because we have no idea what happens after you die. You have no fucking clue whatsoever. And you don't clearly give a fuck if you're going to kill somebody. Because you're defending your family or yourself or whatever. But if you don't give a fuck, then like you aren't considering that that person has someone to go home to. They have kids or they have a wife or they have nothing, but they have a chance after they leave the house, after they leave your house, of taking your material shit or your money, which is material and regainable unless it's cash, I guess. But it's not worth ending anybody's life over because it's material shit. Like all of it can be brought back. All these Dragonlance books that I have, if it burned down, I'd be pretty butthurt, but I would be so grateful that I was alive. And every scenario where I've been in deep shit and I got out alive, I was super grateful that the one thing I had was that I was alive. And that person doesn't get to feel that if they're dead. We have no idea what happens after you die. So there's no reason to fucking kill somebody because it seems like you've just ruined all chance of redemption, all chance of compassion, all chance of a better existence. I mean, why can't we just like treat that with like some psychological help, you know, or treat it with kindness and compassion? I mean, maybe not in the moment, and, you know, and if they end up like taking your shit, they take your shit, dude, but you're alive. Most likely you will make it out alive. People were getting robbed at my old GameStops. When I was working at GameStop, there were 3 serious robberies that happened near my store. Every single one of those robberies, those people got out alive, and they were held at gunpoint for 15 minutes straight. Because it takes 15 minutes to open the safe. Mm-hmm. They would put in the safe. They held them all at gunpoint, whoever they were, and these people had to sit there behind the counter for 15 fucking minutes with a gun at their head, and all of them made it out alive. Look, I'm not saying it's going to happen 100% of the time, but they didn't want to kill them. They were just using fear to get what they wanted, which works. And that's fine because they got material shit from a corporation, and these people were traumatized for a little while, which they did get psychological help from GameStop, and they were treated or whatever, you know, in whatever way they wanted to be treated. But like, they didn't kill them, and maybe that doesn't happen every time. There is war and terrorism or whatever, but
I think one glaring issue then, and I guess we can move on after this because this could be a whole not podcast, but just back and forth on this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I'd rather talk about other stuff, honestly. Okay. But one glaring issue is then as part of your philosophy, do you think people should submit to aggressors then? If they submit, they'll come out alive, or both parties will come out alive. So like in the situation, and this is a rough one. This is a rough one incoming, but like rape scenario.
Yeah, man. I mean that's a pretty brutal thing to think about, and you know I don't know if I could really justify talking about it because I'm not someone who like.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, my first time I was raped, but like I didn't think about it like I was.
I've
you know,
suffered sexual abuse as well. So
yeah, but I'm sorry, and
but
I don't know if I could give my 2 cents on that. I think what I could say is, you know, like if you do submit to oppressors, it's got to be like a specific scenario, man. Like, because like I don't know, I'm not super black and white. I'm big on being gray. And I'm gray until has to be a decision made. You know, like I stay in the middle. I like figuring out both sides, and then once I decide, I polarize.
Yeah,
but
this is a super polarizing issue, though.
Oh,
so
for sure.
I understand where you're coming from.
It's like pro-life or pro-choice or whatever, you know.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah, and I think 90% I would say I'm pro. Oh, I'm not gonna answer.
I'm pro.
I'm a pro skater. Tony Hawk pro skater.
Check out my ollie.
But you know, man, with someone oppressing somebody else, I think it calls for a threshold scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think you have to consider a situation, a hostage situation. You should probably submit to the oppressor depending on how it's going. I mean, like, let's say, like, my job has a held at gunpoint scenario, and you know, you submit until you have a chance, and when you have that chance, you resist, and you don't want to do anything stupid, but you don't want anyone to die, and you don't want more injustice to ensue. So let's say, for instance, there's a government who's oppressing you physically, like, you know, and they're going around and they're killing people and they're putting people in cages or whatever the fuck. We got to stand up to that shit, because that's just something that's going to keep going. Or like a bully scenario is, you know, something that you have to address. Not necessarily you have to address it with attacking them, but it has to be addressed in some way. Yeah. And maybe this is contradicting to the thing where someone comes in my house, but I'm not really that guy. Like, I don't want to hurt somebody, but that's why I said I would non-lethal their ass.
I phrased it in a way I shouldn't have. I should have probably said, do you think it would be morally justifiable for someone to with a gun shoot an intruder rather than you personally? You know, like, I mean, if your next door neighbor,
really give like my personal opinion though. I mean, I would shoot them, but it would be non-lethal. I don't want to kill somebody.
Or attempted non-lethal.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you do what you can. If they die and, you know, they fucking die, that would suck. But, I mean, they knew what the possibility was when they came in, you know? Or they thought they knew. And if it were coming to, like, bro, like, think of, like, Harry Potter with Umbridge. When Umbridge comes in there and she's a huge cunt, and she, like, ruins Hogwarts.
Being impressive,
something has to be done about that. That's someone who's gone way overboard with the power and unnecessarily too. Something had to be done. Voldemort. Something had to be done about that. And, you know, something has to be done. I don't think war is always the option. But like World War II, a completely justifiable war in nearly every sense.
Yeah.
It had to be stopped, bro. Like, there can't be that many fucking people dying and being killed. Not dying, being murdered.
Yeah, like in a global sense, like a literal genocide happening.
Yeah.
It's
we got to work together to fucking stop that shit. And through oppression, people come together and then they like resolve. In most scenarios, we come together, we put all our differences aside. Because it's not like you wear your opinions on your sleeve for the most part, except for people who want to put bumper stickers all over their fucking car.
Yep.
You know, otherwise you could have a completely justified and chill conversation with a Trump supporter, and you might be a Biden supporter. And if you talked about that, that would divide you completely as humans. But if you're talking about, you know, fucking going on a cruise ship and then like loving going to Disneyland, you guys might have that in common, and that's what makes you, you know, friends. But you may not find out that your political views, like, you know, separate you entirely. So, you know, you come together and you don't really think about that type of shit, I guess. So I don't know, man. There's a threshold. It's like an abusive relationship. It's like you try to resolve. If you can't resolve, you get the fuck out of there, dude. You know, like, you try with a friendship. You know how I feel about that. where it's like a friendship that you're trying to fix, and you try hard to fix it. And if you can't fix it, man, you can't change someone's free will. You're not going to bypass their free will just because you want them to be your fucking boy.
Sounds like you're trying to segue right now.
We could. It's a good segue, but you do what you can to fix it. If you can't fix it, you ditch it, and you do your best. And there's always a threshold to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a threshold to abuse, and there's a threshold to tolerance. And if you're if it bypasses that threshold, you're fucking spent, dude, and you retaliate. Look, it's one thing if someone if scenario, someone breaks into the store, and they're, give me all the fucking money, and they got a gun, right? And you're like, okay, take the money. I don't care. This is not my money. It's the business's money. Fuck them. And they're probably not going to shoot you because you're going to give them money. Mm-hmm. You're not going to resist. But let's say you're working with somebody, and they go, give me the fucking money. And then the guy goes, okay, I'll give you the money. And he looks at your other associate and shoots the other associate. And he's like, hurry up. There's a fucking problem now.
Yeah.
Now, in the back,
it's a different level.
It's a different level, dude. And you don't want someone to die, but it's on another level. You can't disagree. This is on another level now. Yeah. One, you're probably going to be hastier about it. You're going to give him more his shit way quicker or whatever. But also, now you're like, man, I'm going to fuck this guy's life up right now if he fucking gives me a chance. Mm-hmm. It's on a different level. It's just bypass a threshold. I think that's kind of the scenario, man.
Yeah. The situation where you're the associate getting robbed at a store is different than somebody coming into your house and taking your own personal objects, is different from somebody invading your bodily autonomy, which is different than a genocide. Like, it is all different levels. It probably there are different lines drawn on the amount of response that's needed for each of them.
Yeah, you start with a peace treaty, and then they start murdering.
And then they sign it, and they're like, yeah, we're good, bro. And then they go back, and they're just, staring you in the eyes while they're slowly stabbing somebody. And it's like, I see you. We're on another level now, dude. That peace treaty's gone. I'm going to fucking kill you. Yeah, I mean, like a war. You sign a peace treaty. You want peace. We all want peace. Why wouldn't we want peace? Nobody wants that loss of life. Or even invasion of...
Even the people who are, trying to oppress you, they don't want their people killed. One, mostly because they need someone to oppress, and two, they have an affinity for what's called the wolf pack. They don't want their wolves getting fucked with, and as soon as their wolves get fucked with, they're gonna fuck with you. So we want peace, and if that peace isn't resolved, then there's another step, and then they go to something else, and they're immediately, and then you're going through these steps, and until there's all out fucking broken out war and you can't do anything, it's unavoidable. World War II being an example.
You don't want to just jump into.
You want oil on someone's
land? Hey, you're fucking up. No. I'm coming over there with 10,000 dudes. I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, hey, let's solve this. And it's too late, brother. I saw
something that was there's a girl at a party who's getting she was being attacked by another dude. The response to that was 3 dudes showing up, and they were like, hey, are you fucking with my girlfriend right now? And he was like, yeah, I'm beating the shit out of her. Okay, well, you passed the threshold. You're getting your ass beat.
You've shown that you're not
a reasonable person who can be spoken to at the moment.
Yeah, you're not amenable to any peaceful solutions to
this. Because you're beating up a fucking innocent female or whatever. And for someone who's way bigger than them, the threshold's passed, bro. We're fucking done with this shit. I'm beating your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. There's a threshold. And if you get to that threshold, then you get to that threshold. I've been in fights. Trust me, I've been in fights. And the threshold for one of them was that this guy was so fucking rude to all of us. Every single person. And especially, and he was going off to me too. At recess, and it was all recess. He was so rude, and we're all cussing at each other. And I was like, fuck this guy. And I fucking planted a foot in his back, and we started fighting, and, I got knocked the fuck out. But I hit a threshold. I was bullied for the rest of the year way harder. The result wasn't what I wanted, but I bypassed the threshold for myself. I wasn't willing to fight until I was
where you felt action was needed to
then
be taken.
I finally was like, fuck this, man. I'm done with this shit. I'm gonna fucking beat this kid's ass. And then it didn't work. You know, it doesn't always turn out the way you want it to turn out, but I did hit a threshold.
Yeah. You don't win every war you get into.
No, you fucking don't. Which is why you shouldn't fight somebody, because
true,
you have no idea, dude. Especially now, 2021, bro. Everyone has done some type of self-defense. People don't look like. I dated a girl who did what's it called? Some type of martial arts. I forgot what it was. I think I want to say it starts with a K, and it wasn't karate. It was
Krav Maga.
No, dude. She had crazy ground game. She'd fuck you up, and she just was like, "Oh, I want to wrestle and joke around with you," and she fucked me up, dude. She put me in like a pretzel. You don't know people, bro. You don't know.
That just sounds like jujitsu.
It wasn't. It was something else.
Yeah.
I think was it kendo? Might have been kendo.
Kendo is a sword.
I thought so too, but dude, she fucked you up, bro. You had no idea. She just looked like some goofy Pierce the Veil chick, and then she jacked you up. So you don't know. You have no. And it's not like the girl beat me up or whatever. That's not my ego talking. That's just the facts. She didn't beat me up, but like we were joking around, and she put me in a pretzel, and I was like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" And you know, you don't know people, bro. So I had a friend. He took his shirt off, and he looked like Bruce Lee. But before that, he just looked like a dude who looked like he listened to Vela Maya. But he took his shirt off. He looked like Bruce Lee, and he had like 8 years of training behind his belt, and he'd fuck you up.
I went to school with a man. I was an emo kid, so I hung out.
We both were.
Yeah. We hung out in probably the same crowds. Skater kids.
Yep.
Straight emo, goth.
Yeah.
The scene kids who like to hang around and live the aesthetic, but didn't know what it was really like.
The people who didn't wear matching clothes.
Yeah. Then there was like the outskirts were the drama kids and whatever. And then weird kids were allowed in because it was like, we're all weird, man. One of them was named, his name was Michael. Everybody called him Ducky for some reason. But
okay.
Him and another kid named Ben, they would say all the time that they would get together and they would spar and like learn all kinds of martial arts together. Mm-hmm. The way that they talked, it sounded like those people who are compulsive liars who like they say they do all these things, but they really don't.
Yeah, there's a guy at my work who does that. And
bro, no, these kids were insane. I like he would tell me stories all the time, like, oh yeah, like I got in a fight with these dudes and they kept swinging and like they couldn't hit me at all and I was just goofing around with them and then I just pop one hit, got him, and it was like, sure he did, buddy.
But was it true?
Yes, I sparred with him. Oh my god, I sparred with him. This was like me, like, man, I was like 6 to 8 months deep, like doing Muay Thai training every single day. Mm-hmm. Like I literally had a log that I was like flipping up a hill and like kicking and conditioning and like sparring with my brother and my friend from down the street and Carlos. Mm-hmm. And Carlos actually has a story too. And I was like, yeah, I'm really into Muay Thai. I want to get a good foundation there. And he was like, yeah, I haven't tried Muay Thai. I guess we can spar and I'll do Tai Chi. And I was like, Tai Chi, okay.
But he like flipped the switch to Tai Chi.
Yes, I did. Sick. I got in my stance. He feigned a kick, and I lifted my leg up to block it with my leg, and he just like effortlessly stuck his foot behind my one foot that was on the ground, pushed my chest, pulled my foot, and I was fucking horizontal. It was insane. And then Carlos was the same way. Carlos is his brothers love like boxing and stuff. He's been doing that stuff for a long time. A little bit of martial arts here and there, but mainly boxing and stuff. Carlos could probably beat my ass pretty handily. He's had a lot more fighting experience than I have. Carlos got into a sparring match with Ducky, and Carlos was like, yeah, I didn't think that anything he said was true, but I couldn't touch him. I could not touch him.
Nice. Yeah.
He's like,
see, that's part of what I mean, man. You don't fucking know, dude.
And he was ripped.
Dude, that guy who I choked out was one of those dudes who said they did all that shit, and then then I fucking choked his ass out.
Yeah, when people say all that stuff, they sound like they're bullshitting.
And he was. I mean, he was like, bro, I dig people's faces into the concrete. I'm fucking nuts. Don't fuck with me. And he slipped, and I fucking choked his ass out, and it was game. Now, maybe that's a 1% scenario that worked in my favor. It didn't seem like it, because that kick, and you can ask any of those fucking guys there, because there was
horrible form.
It was so telegraphed. It was like you saw it coming. Why would you stand there? You duck, or you step back 2 feet or whatever.
Was it the swan kick from fucking Karate Kid?
It was, yeah, on that
where
level
it's like,
I
see what you're doing.
Yeah, but he still got hit. Yeah. It was on that level. Yeah. So you encounter those guys who are full of shit, and you're like, but that's funny that he fucking was actually like legit.
Man, his buddy, who we were over at their house when it happened. He had a really bad family life, so like I guess I see why they had a lot of time. It was just them two hanging out all the time. Mm-hmm. He was doing. We were 14, 15 years old. That dude was like doing. He had all of the choreography down for drunken boxing.
Nice.
Like I saw him like doing the movements and stuff, and I was like, he's either really really good at imitating.
Or it's real.
Or it's real. And
even if it was imitation, it's probably pretty close.
Yeah, by the way that Michael was like, he just whooped my ass so hard. I was like, yeah, I think it's real. These two are together all the time. There's like it's there. The chances of just one of them being really good and the other one not is like, I couldn't comprehend it. Yeah, like who else is he sparring with that would make him better than the person he's sparring with all the time?
Yeah,
but. Yeah, man. Nice.
That was like such a quiet part. Like,
he's over there breathing through his butthole.
Dude, I guess it was the fajitas. What did I have? I had a bunch of bagel bites for fucking lunch. I had 9 bagel bites for lunch. I'm a 140-pound little boy, but I had fucking 9 bagel bites for dinner or for lunch. I tore apart some fajitas.
You the other night said that might have been last night. Said that you had
hang out like every day now. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
You had a tough question.
Oh, dude, I mean, I don't know what it is. I said I did, and I don't know, like I was like sitting on it, pondering it myself, and I was like, man, this would be such a good question to ask Errin. And then it's like the blip on the radar, man. It's like I know it's there, but I don't know what it is. I don't remember. It wasn't something like are you pro-choice or whatever, but it was. Mm-hmm. It was like.
Was it a stupid question that could go very deep, but people generally just deal with it on the surface?
Yeah, I think maybe because it was something I really was like, and I was like just kind of generally curious what like maybe your opinion would have been about it, and I don't remember what it was. I mean, this whole conversation has been pretty enlightening to me, overall. And, I'm discussing my own, a lot of times, like, you really don't even know what you believe until you start saying it out loud, and then it kind of, it grounds, like, where you really are at.
Yeah.
And I'm super passive aggressive, man, or not passive to aggression, I don't want to fight. And I'm
passive aggressive. He's a fucking bitch, baby.
You're kind of a bitch.
Oh yeah, you're looking kind of bigger.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Bigger than usual today.
I'm fine.
I guess.
I'm fine. But I'm really impartial to like any sort of violence, and it's funny just to kind of hear it out loud. Yeah, I don't know. I think that shit's kind of overrated to fight. Now, I mean, it might save your fucking life, and it's gotten me out of some situations. There was one time I was working at the pawn shop. And this guy who was bullying me, his name was Michael too.
Nice.
Big ass dude. He
had a big ass.
He was like 300 pounds. He was pretty big. But he wasn't like, waddling fat, but he was big. He was just a big dude. Uh-huh. He played football at some point. He was like a linebacker or some shit.
Yeah, probably had a lot of muscle underneath all that.
Probably. And man, he would fucking bully me all the time. My friend at the time, Rod, was he was like a jacked tan guy, super good looking, and he never fucked with Rod. He fucked with me, who's little, and he was like, he would punch me and he would fucking rag on me all the time. And I just started there, and like maybe a month in, it got a little out of hand. Mm-hmm. And I told him like, hey man, don't fucking touch me again. I was like, I'm not who you think I am. Don't do this shit anymore. Don't hit me again. Don't fucking touch me. Don't like pretend like you're gonna like hit me or whatever. Don't keep doing that. I promise you, you're doing it to the wrong person. And he was like, oh yeah, man. Yeah, no problem. You're trying to scare me and all that, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he's fucking around with me, and, you know, he kind of blew it off. And he really did blow it off. And every fucking job I work at, someone tries to be that guy who wants to scare everybody and is like, you know, popping out at you, and they're always really close to you. And that person's always 1/4 hair away from getting fucked up. Because I might not want to fight you, but I might throw a punch on accident and fuck you up. Especially if you touch me, I'm probably going to flip you like in 3 different fucking horizontal positions before you hit the ground. This guy fucking did do that, finally. And he threw a punch, and it went to connect. I like grabbed his fucking arm. I put my like foot behind his foot, and I'm holding him in this position where I'm about to trip him and break his elbow at the same time. Mm-hmm. And he's frozen. Like, this guy who's 300 pounds, he's like 6'3", is stunned. This guy's standing in this like janky-ass position, and I was like in his ear. I'm like, don't fucking do that shit again, or I'm going to break your fucking elbow. And then when I said that, I pushed in his elbow, and you could hear it go, and he was like, ah! And then I fucking
an anime waifu.
Yeah. And he never fucked with me after that. And he had this like weird respect for me after that. And I was like, dude, like, and he was like, what would you have done? I was like, I would have broken your fucking elbow. If you would have tried to hit me or something, I would have just broken your elbow. And then I wouldn't have felt bad about it. And I don't give a fuck, bro. Yeah. And at the time I was in that mentality, and I still would have been in that position now, but I probably would, only if he gets, I probably would have done the same shit, but I would have said it differently. But, you know, it's come in handy, that's for sure. It's gotten me out of that situation, because I don't think he would have gotten out of that. I don't think he would have stopped doing that, because it just felt like that was the threshold. That's what I mean. It was like, I didn't handle it by beating his ass, but I definitely scared him out of doing it.
Yeah, there's some people, it's really, really weird. I don't understand. This might be a blind spot in my empathy. I don't understand where this comes from.
Yeah, sometimes I got those. I try to work those out.
People who are really, really aggressive towards you until you show aggression back, and then they're pushing you, and they're pushing you, and they're pushing you, and like they're legitimately aggressive towards you.
Yeah,
and then like you come back and you show them aggression, and they're like, all right, respect. Now we're friends, dog. And it's like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah,
no
what the hell is
this?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like
He
you.
did try doing that. He tried being pals with me after that, and it did not. I mean, I never got pals with him because he was like really fake, and he was just like always just like, I don't know, kind of like the little dog complex, but he was a big dude.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes, like a little guy complex. Like I get people with that are insufferable to me.
Like a dude with a big truck?
No, well, yeah, kind of, yeah. Little guy
I had a
complexes.
manager who was like 4'5", but he had like a 10-foot truck. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of get those. Like you overcompensate where you can, because whatever. But
it's balance.
There's a blind spot in my empathy. I don't understand where that comes from. Maybe it comes from like a bad relationship with your father or something, or a father figure.
Yeah, or some sense of having to prove yourself, or like, you're the top dog. And he was like, he had the best sales out of everybody, but granted, he was there for like 5 years before anyone else. Yeah. So, I mean, we were fresh to the market, and me and Rod were top 2. Rod was number 2, and I was number 3 every single month.
I got those little fajita burps.
And I got those fajita farts. And we were making cash money, bro. We had commissions, like, we had a lot of commission money just for being top 2. And Michael was number 1, and so maybe he felt like, I was stepping into his territory or something. So it's like some monkey shit, some leftover monkey shit, where we're like, your
monkey brain.
Yeah, and you're just trying to do some primal shit where you're trying to like, wrestle with the idea of someone else coming into your territory.
Yeah, I used to live with my with part of my extended family, like second cousins and stuff. when I lived over there, they were really, really, they would drink from 9 a.m. to whenever they passed out. Like, they would be constantly drunk if they could help it. Almost always circling the drain on, like, just being completely bankrupt, pretty much. They lived out in trailers on this big plot of land, and they like to shoot their guns and stuff. Like, they were pretty much like Wisconsin rednecks. When I was living over there, they let me live there. I had nothing in common with, like, almost any of them except for my 2 cousins who I just called them regular cousins. Well, one cousin. The other one was kind of a cunt. No. She wasn't kind of a cunt. She was totally a cunt.
To be clear, if it was a guy, you would have just called him an asshole, So.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna gender this one. Typically I try not to. She was a horrible person. Okay. I'll rephrase. She was bottom of the barrel, like fucking pond scum, right? She's horrible human being.
Dude, all the dysphomisms are not necessary.
Just I don't care.
Tell the story.
She was horrible.
She's not probably gonna listen to this.
Probably not. But anyway, I was living over there. Had nothing in common with, like, any of those people. Whoop! There goes that shit.
The pop filter.
Okay. Had nothing in common with, like, any of those people. But what they would do is so I would buy their groceries. I had a food stamps card. I was pretty much out on my own, 18 to 19 years old at the time, and I could not find a job anywhere. Everywhere I was living, there was, like, no jobs to be had, so I couldn't get jobs anywhere. So I was on food stamps, which I was more than happy to, like, I would give, like, 75% of my food stamps over to whoever I was living with as, like, kind of like a payment. Like, hey, here we go. I'm gonna get your food. And I'm family, so I'm going to be living here with you guys. They would get drunk and berate me for not having a job. They were really, really aggressive. They were also the kind of people who would just threaten me all the time with, like, hey, you know what? I don't fucking like you, and I'm going to beat your fucking ass, all right? Yeah, they would say that kind of shit.
Yeah, I've met people like that.
They were really, really prideful. Like, my uncle, he would be, like, always telling stories about how he was whooping somebody's ass. Like, somebody, like, stabbed him with a 9-inch knife, and he, like, beat their ass and then walked himself to the hospital. Or he got in a fight with somebody at a bar, and they had, like, they were like, oh, I'm a Golden Glove boxer, and I just stepped on his foot really hard so he couldn't move anywhere, and then all that boxing went out the window, and I beat his ass. Yeah. He was that kind of person. And then I had a cousin who was the same way as his fucking father, and he was like, you know what? I can bench 300 pounds. You know what that means? That means each one of my hands has the force of at least 150 pounds. Like, firstly, that's not how that fucking works, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. And just because you can lift doesn't mean you can fight.
Yeah. But they were these kind of people. And what they would do is they would try, like, physical shows of strength. Normally, I would just let it go, and I'd be like, fucking stop, you bunch of dummies. But there was one time where my uncle actually, like, tried to grab me when I wasn't paying attention. Like, he wrapped his arms around my chest, and I grabbed his wrists and, like, bent him and pulled, like, he had his fingers locked a little bit, but he unlocked them because I was causing discomfort, and, like, pulled him away. And he was like, oh man, you're way stronger than I thought you were. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and brag about it, dude. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, you guys
is a powerful thing.
You guys are the fucking gorillas over here beating your chest and stuff. I'm not gonna do that.
Dude. Yeah, bro. Like, that shit. Dude, you can smell that out, dude. Like, you see it and you're like, look at that monkey over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's kind of how it feels, man. Where it's like we're still these little primates, and like we're barely away from that.
You know what? I can see that most often in the way people treat their pets. Like, when you see somebody messing with their pet, they'll pet them and stuff and, like, goof around with their head, and then sometimes they're just, like, poking on them, and it's like, you look like a monkey playing with something you found in the jungle.
Yeah.
Like, this is so easy to see, and I do it too.
Yeah.
I'll, like, be doing something, and then I'll be like, oh, this is some monkey shit right here.
yeah. Like you had to question why you're doing this in the first place. Does my dog even like this or whatever?
My fiance like picks at my head. Like she just likes getting lost in my fucking scalp, picking out dandruff and stuff. Like it's like weird little things like that.
Really
people
bad
do.
dandruff. Don't worry.
What?
You don't have really bad dandruff.
Well, not right now. I've been using this purple shampoo to take the brass tones out of my hair, and my dandruff's just pretty much gone. Yeah. Normally, though, I have a lot of dandruff.
I usually do too, and not like a disgusting amount, but I got eczema.
Oh, I got a disgusting amount, bro. I got fucking ichthyosis of the scalp or something. That shit's always growing extra layers, and it's just dropping off. And
yeah, I use like some fucking sweet ass scalp repair, so like I don't really experience it too often. I can wear black clothes now, which I fucking couldn't for a long time. So. And it came out of nowhere. I didn't have it for so long, and then out of nowhere it came back.
I'm wearing a black shirt right now, and it's not...
yeah, I don't see it at all.
It's not like...
And you got like that rim lighting from that LED rainbow behind you.
I'm gonna rim you, brother.
What was my point? The monkey shit, dude. We're fucking monkeys, bro, and we are not that far away. And you can sniff that stuff out like so easily.
Yeah.
And... I see, like, I kind of do it, like, here and there, where I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, let's say, like, getting blue-balled is definitely some monkey shit, where you're like, motherfucker, bro, I'm so horny. That's some monkey shit. But, like, it's hard to deny your own instincts, where you're like, I want to mate, and I'm like, I'm in the mode to mate, and then you can't mate, you're pissed. It's monkey shit. And, we're not perfect. We're not some fucking, jello with like a brain in there. We got fucking organs that send off chemicals, and we're ready to fuck.
Yep.
And it's, it's one thing to have discipline. It's another thing to be like a machine. You're disciplined where you're not going to rape somebody, but you're also like fucking, you're worked up,
Yeah.
So... That's some monkey shit, but you can't override everything. But the type of shit like your parents or your uncles and whatever were doing, that's some serious monkey shit.
Yeah,
where that only requires discipline.
It was usually when they were drunk, so I couldn't.
So don't get drunk.
Well, that tall order for them. I don't think if they stopped drinking, they would die. That's probably the amount.
Sometimes I've heard that like you quit cold turkey, you just die. It's not like smoking. Like smoking, you can quit cold turkey and not die. But I heard that if you're like a big drunk and you stop cold turkey, you just go into shock.
Yeah.
Your like liver will fail or something, which seems strange.
Probably the only positive. I mean, I probably gained some life lessons over there, but probably the only positive thing that I ever did over there that I was like, I think back on and I'm like, I would want to do that again. Is I took a bath in a river.
Like we do in D&D.
Yeah, like we had shampoo, we had body wash and everything, and we went down to the river, and like you get in the water, you fucking take your shit off underwater, hold on to it, wash your hair and shit. Dude, I fucking love swimming in rivers. It's a shame where we are currently is like the rivers are so fucking polluted.
Oh, I was like that we have baths and showers. What do you mean?
No, not like our
everything
our times,
is all fucked up. I mean, you can't drink rainwater because it is unhealthy, because the water cycle is fucked up because of our pollution. You can't drink rainwater right now. You have to purify the rainwater to drink it.
Yeah.
That's where we are in life. We fucked it up, man.
I'm going to pose a hypothetical. Maybe we can move more into philosophical stuff. I'm going to pose a hypothetical.
Now we do 2-hour podcasts instead of 1-hour podcasts?
Yeah, bro. If you had the opportunity, right? And I know you would. Okay, I'll caveat this a little bit. If somebody came up to you and said, "Look, 100%, you press this button, everybody is going to, me included, is going to phase out of existence. It's not going to be painful.
It's going to be some Thanos shit.
Yeah, okay. They're going to fade away. They're not going to know they ever existed. They're not going to know." Like, they're not going to know the pain of death. They're not going to know anything. It's just humans only. Every other species, that's okay. Well, I guess maybe humans have branched off into other species, but like what we would consider humans. Yeah. They'll just poof. And I mean, you can choose. You can take one other person with you, because I'll give you that. So it's like you and your wife. so you don't have to be alone. Or you can choose for you and your wife to disappear as well. Okay. Would you press that button? Nobody knew it was you. It could never be tied back to you for any reason.
It's like you're asking me to like mass murder like literally everyone, but peacefully. Man, that would be very strange.
Well, I know you said that you love humans and stuff.
Yeah,
but if the alternative was like you press this button and everybody all of a sudden believes in green energy and renewable energy and believes that all sentient life it includes animals and everything. And
I don't think I could press the button. I don't think I could press the button mostly because of free will. I mean, like I just literally inhibited it on the most. Like the biggest thing against free will would be to take away someone's life. That is the biggest inhibitor of free will, is chance.
Sure.
So like I would literally have just taken away 7.5 billion people's free will because of what? So the planet could do whatever it wanted. We have to understand too.
Fuck the planet, bro.
I was like, why did you want me to do it in the first place? Just cause. Because like. I mean, I guess the benefit would be that the planet can evolve, right?
But yeah, all the any life that's on it currently. But
everything is. I don't want to say it like I'm a determinist, but
no, you don't have to. I am.
You're right, but in the sense that like we're here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
We're like. Another planet with other people on a planet are doing this too. Because there's like an evolution. And maybe evolution doesn't mean that you go through gas and you like make trash islands and shit. But you do evolve. And you have to understand there's like a path of evolution. You can't argue against. You could argue evolutionism versus creationism. That's fine. Be an idiot. But but the idea that you have moved from, let's say, some caveman shit, the gorilla shit that we were just talking about, to where we are now is evolution, right? We've evolved into this state of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
We may not have had the same progression of consciousness where you are going to burn fossil fuels and ruin the planet and shit like that and not know what to do with trash and all that. Those may not be the same hurdles that you take on another planet, but you will evolve as a species on that planet as a humanoid or whatever. This is 1 degree of evolution where we are, and there is chance to grow. If you remove the chance, there isn't a chance that things could get better. I don't know how quickly they will get better, but consider this. Things have gotten better. Because remember, I don't know if you remember this, but in 2013, when I decided that I would stop eating red meat, and I decided that I was going to eat more organic, and I was going to make better decisions about my diet, when I started looking for that stuff, there was an extremely small section at the superstore or whatever, Walmart or whatever, where there was organic food. It was a very specific aisle. Not aisle. It was a like 3 or 4 foot little section that said organic. And it was bananas, apples, like fucking 2 green peppers and a random vegetables that you didn't know in a 4 foot, like 4 cubic feet. There was no space at all for healthy food to buy at a grocery store. There was no healthy food anywhere. There was Chipotle and like Qdoba for fast food, and Chick-fil-A I was like didn't consider healthy at the time, but maybe healthier than other options now. And there was no organic food on any aisle except for that little organic section. I remember that. Now there is organic food, there's non-GMO food on every fucking aisle for every single option, there's like, and not that you have to eat fucking fake meat. That shit's bullshit anyways. It's all oils. But like, let's say you want to buy organic crackers. There's non-GMO organic crackers of like 18 different kinds now. And there has been an evolution where we have made a better step towards doing better, at least for our health. And in just one example. Now, if we're talking about like fossil fuels and stuff, that is way harder to push because it's owned by corporations who are willing to fucking ride or die for that shit. And, you know, our government's fucked up. Corporatocracy is fucked up. You know, we got the monetary system that's fucked up. But look.
You sound like a Molotov Solution song right now.
I know. I fucking love them. Please listen to Molotov Solution after this. And Justice for All, baby. But the reality is things have gotten better. They're not always... They're not going to always stay like this. They won't.
Yeah, and veganism is being...
Think about rape. I don't always think about rape. But... think about...
I let you know that curveball was coming beforehand. Come on now. So you just fucking drop that word
about how 300 years ago, there was no consensual sex at all. None. There was no consensual sex unless you were with your wife, maybe. How did you get that fucking wife? How, like, almost, I would say 85+% of sex was non-consensual. Women had no real place in society. And in some places, you know, throughout the ages, like in Egypt before the Hebrews came, there was a lot of equality for women. There was, in certain places, there was more equality for women, but still, rape was heavily prevalent. People fucked each other without asking, because we're fucking monkeys. But now, dude, the fucking rape percentage is extremely low. And I'm sorry if it's happened to you, of course. But you have to consider how much consensual sex there is now. People ask, there's Tinder. Yeah. People, I don't rape my wife. I've never raped my wife.
Do you ask for consent, though?
That, I mean, yeah, there's, you know, we definitely, it's strangely how, like, how free will I am about, like, sex. Like, I want her to be 100% sure she wants to have sex. It sounds really goofy, but
no,
we're on the same fucking page.
There's a new, or not new.
We're in a paradigm of change, and if you remove that opportunity by snapping everyone, Thanosing 100%, there's no chance for change and evolution. And then at that higher consciousness, we have a higher form of living. And I think
maybe.
I think
if you believe in it.
Yeah, I believe.
What do you mean by higher consciousness?
Well, I mean higher consciousness than gorilla is where we are now.
Oh, like more like cognitive function, more sapience.
Yeah, more understanding.
Yeah,
more
sapience. Yeah,
coexistence that will cause us to have a more unified cohesion of living. We're not going to be. I would imagine that, and as you know, and I wouldn't say maybe, because when we had the dumber gorilla self, we were more prone to war. We were more prone to violence. Think about how much war we were going through back in the day. All you read about in history is like a war every fucking year. Every year before 1800, there's a fucking war.
Well, do you think that might be because of, or would you contribute that to the monkey brain thing we're talking about, or would you contribute that to now we have better technology to where we don't have to be fighting each other sword to sword, literally sword to sword or anything? We can have specialized teams with a lot more technology that can cover a lot more bases. There has to be less casualties. We're still doing war.
There's still war, but we're not all at war. You can go to London and you're fine. You can go to most places in Africa and you're fine. You can go to anywhere, Australia. You can go anywhere in India. You're not fucking dying. You're not going to step out your front door and someone's going to stab you with a sword or shoot you with a gun just because you went there. You could fly almost anywhere, dude. And there is the most amount of peace there's ever been in the world as today. You can't argue against that. And not you specifically. If you want to, you could try. But you're not going to succeed in the argument.
I'll take that challenge. Oh, fuck, I lost it.
Yeah. This is the most peace there's ever been ever. So, if you would ask me that, 100, maybe even like, 1,000 years ago, I would probably say, yeah, snap it, because we're fucking stupid.
Do you think you might think the exact same then as you do now about how we've progressed?
Maybe, but also would I have like a philosophical understanding? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what my past life was like. I don't know.
Plato and shit, dog.
Yeah, I could have been one of those fucking dudes, because I'm a big thinker. But
like you were telling me earlier, just walking up to people and being like, I see you're having a conversation. Let's take it to a logical extreme and find out what you're...
yeah. I don't know what I was like, I have only had like small visions of past lives. I don't fucking know. But maybe, because at every point ever you have evolved. You're not the same Errin you were yesterday, as you are today. You're learning something.
No,
always.
Determinism, though.
Yeah, I mean, just because you say it doesn't mean it like resolves a thought. It's like, that's...
Well, determinism would take that into effect.
Things are going to be better. I'm determined things will be better. Because according to determinism, you would take all the effects into account.
Every little tiny thing ever is a variable affecting everything else, yeah.
And all of those things have led up to what it is now, where things are better than ever. And I don't think if I snapped everything in a way, it would get better. It would just start over. Does that mean it's going to get better? I don't think so.
So so your argument is you don't want to put a damper on progress that you currently see by like resetting and allowing another essentially another
it's not that I don't have
being
faith.
Come up
it's not that I don't have faith that it'll get better again, but like it's like I don't know, it's like pulling the plug on an addict while they're going through recovery. What if he makes it out? Look at Steve-O. Like, Steve was a good example of someone who fucking was huffing, cans of aerosol or whatever, and in his apartment,
dildos out of a cannon into his ass and shit.
Yeah, that's just more fun than it is a drug thing.
Does sound pretty fun.
But like, he said he was having full-blown conversations with people in his apartment. Like, look where he is now, where he won't be around any type of like drug thing, because he's come to a point in his life where he realizes like he's better off without it. He's made huge progress and stuff. He's still willing to do dumb shit, and his comedy heavily revolves around hurting himself and stuff, and that's fine if that's what he wants to do. But he's not addicted to something. He's evolved. And if we would have pulled the plug on somebody who's like willing to take the chance to like become a better person, then you'll never see what they could have become. And I think we have a lot of opportunity up ahead. And we're not going to be, you and I will not be alive for like the big awakening or fucking where everyone is going to be in complete unity with each other. That's thousands of years down the line, I'm sure. If we ever become to that complete unity, who knows? I mean, according to the law of one, it'd be very unlikely that there's 100% fucking perfect unity, because there's always going to be like the polarizers who want to be negative. I mean, if they're going to be negative, they're going to be negative. There's going to be oppressors, and there'll be resistors, and we want peace, and some people won't want peace, and that's okay. We'll get through that. But there will be a time where, and there is a time right now, there is far more peace than there is no peace. There's far more peace than there is violence, and there's far more freedom than there is oppression. And the oppression that we do have is slow and gradual and fucking ineffective, but it is effective for them to make money and get the fucked up stuff that they do. But generally speaking, the public is in great peace.
Do you think it's possible that maybe the peace that you see isn't so much peace, and the oppression, or sorry, the freedom that you see isn't as much freedom as the opposite of it being more sophisticated and harder to grapple with?
I don't know what you're asking.
So I guess the freedom and oppression example. So do you think where it's undeniable that more primitive forms of oppression have been getting phased out, that more sophisticated versions of it could be getting phased in the forms of like advertisement and all that stuff? Do you think that is more beneficial, or do you think that it's kind of a wash as far as the difference between blatant oppression and it like an advanced form of whatever the same kind of oppression would be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's advanced in some way. Do I think it's more beneficial? I mean, yeah, no,
because of people's happiness. Like
so
they can.
The amazing thing about free will is that it.
You keep saying free will. We haven't talked about determinism yet, brother.
So the amazing thing about free will is that you choose whether or not to be oppressed, which is kind of amazing. So you don't have to be oppressed. You don't have to be on this advanced level of oppression. To some degree, you're predisposed to it and you're going to be exposed to it, right? So say, for instance, your data, you're using a phone and stuff. Well, you want a phone. You're going to choose to have a phone. I'm going to choose to have this type of phone, the Motorola phone or whatever that I have. And I'm going to choose to, use Google instead of DuckDuckGo or fucking whatever, even though I know it exists or whatever. But
and
I knowingly use these things, and I'm somewhat being oppressed by the advertisements. But it's not like I'm clicking on every fucking advertisement. It's not like I'm buying everything that they fucking sell me, of course.
But then that also ties into the advanced forms of like advertising and stuff, where it's a lot of it's like more subliminal, not so much
way more subliminal.
Yeah, like in
sure.
What was it, 1950s or something, where the commercials were like, "You should smoke cigarettes because it's good for your health," and everybody does it.
Do it.
Yeah. And now it's like you just see the product here and there in product placements and in movies you watch and TV that you watch, and you see the ad here and there because you've searched it at one point and now it's logged that, hey, this person has an interest in this kind of thing, so we'll show them the ad so they know, like, hey, this stuff is on sale here, or you can get it easily at this place, and that's going to lead you more into engaging with that product.
So what I mean about the amazing thing about free will is that your choice to submit to the oppression makes the oppression stronger because of your loyalty to the oppression. So they don't have to do anything to succeed in oppressing you. So I think in some form it is better because you're not being hurt by it. And of course, we always want to preserve life. In some way, you're not being preserved because of high fructose corn syrup type shit. You got chemicals in your food or whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, free will, you don't have to drink that. I
Tax that sugar. Get it out of here.
So the thing is, when you've watched The Matrix, right?
Yeah.
So if you haven't, we're watching it fucking tonight.
I have
on
watched
4K.
it.
I got 4K Matrix, bro. It's so
bro, I've
beautiful
watched
looking.
it. I've watched it. We've talked about The Matrix before.
Okay, so anyways. So there's something that Agent Smith says, where he says, we couldn't make The Matrix perfect because your like fucking human minds thought something was wrong. And you started resisting, and you like started waking up, realizing that like everything can't be perfect. There's something amiss. So they had to make it. And he said, "There's something disturbing about you humans, where you want there to be like trouble, and you want like some crap to work through, right? In like kind of in the same light, like you have to, through the oppression, you give them Taco Bell and these shitty foods or whatever, and then corporations, who are like the negative mind, uses that the money or whatever to do what they want to do, and they're using you, the person who chooses to be, in love with Doritos or whatever, to support them. And then they can live peacefully themselves. It's not like they're fucking, going out and like stabbing people in the street or being attacked every day. They can live their negative mind life in whatever way. Their oppressors can live their life, generally peacefully themselves, doing it in this advanced way where, they, fuck with the market, and they can have all this money that gives them whatever the fuck they want. And generally speaking, the two can coexist. In fact, the two can pass each other right by without ever having a problem with each other. The perfect positive mind and the perfect negative mind, theoretically. And they could walk next door to each other, walk through the same bank, withdraw the money next to each other, go to the fucking grocery store, ring out food next to each other. They could sit next to each other at a McDonald's and not even realize it, and do it peacefully. And I think you couldn't necessarily do that had that been Caesar and a slave right next to each other, right? Because then there's a clear line between the oppressor and the oppressee. So I think in some way the advanced form is more peaceful, or is
because it's harder for people to see the line and react or engage with the line that separates them and the oppressor.
It just
so it
doesn't result in violence. It doesn't result in
it's easier to live with that. It's easier to live not seeing that line, because then you don't have to engage with the line.
It's kind of like, ignorance is bliss, and that ignorance keeps you at peace, and you guys both can coexist. I mean, but like the threshold isn't passed, and and that's why it's gradual. Because if it's gradual and slow, the threshold doesn't exist. Think about an abused relationship. You make excuses and excuses, but if he doesn't really beat you really hard, or like all that often, or like too, in front of everybody, then you might accept it a little while.
Yeah, or if they make you believe that it's
that
it's
you
are
fault
actually
or whatever.
at fault. Gaslighting.
Then you have this threshold that's like a little higher. The same thing kind of goes with oppression, man, where it's like if that threshold is far out of your reach from insurrection, then you're not gonna do anything about it, really. But the two types of mind will exist. The positive and the negative mind will exist. And they will exist parallel to each other. At least in this density, I would think that we're way more willing to like coexist with each other at the moment, because we found ways to live right next to each other, and it doesn't.
It's like a complacency thing.
Yeah, which is okay.
It's tolerable.
We're tolerating each other. Look, I'm not stoked that there's a bunch of fucking bankers out there who are like getting away with whatever they want.
Yeah.
But there are people who are caught in the crossfire about that. People go missing. There's horrible shit that they do, I'm sure. It's Pizzagate type shit. But,
well, I don't know about Pizzagate.
But there is more good than there is bad. And I'm not willing to snap it away because we're existing okay. We're existing better than ever. And we see problems, and it does take a little while. But think about this, dude. Like, slavery was a problem. We resolved the problem. There was women didn't have rights. Black people didn't fucking have rights. It was a terrible thing. We resolved that for the most part, for like nearly everything. We had the LGBTQ, we had that whole thing go through, and we got gay marriage rights, bro. That was a big one, and especially for Drew. He went off to me about how like fucking happy he was that shit got resolved. When he was younger, he was like, "Wow, this is big for me," And my mom, and when she had a girlfriend at the time, that was big for them. My aunt is gay, and that was really big for them. They got married, and we take these steps in society which may not be parallel. Like, we want them to not parallel. It's not like an elevator effect where everybody moves up at the same time.
Yeah,
that would be nice. But the reality is, it's hard to focus on everything. You focus on one thing, you laser focus it, and you fucking resolve it. So the LGBT thing, we resolve that stuff by staring at it, and then we fucking make it happen. Everyone gets eyes on a situation, we resolve it. Like the police brutality thing, everyone put their eyes on that, and they were like, let's fucking fix this. And while you fix that, other things are not being fixed, but they will get fixed in time. Not everything's going to get fixed all at once. We're going to be 100 years old, and maybe only like 10 things got fixed. But at least those things got fixed. We had our first black president, too. That finally happened.
Yeah, first female vice president, too.
Yeah, and that was very recent.
Indian?
I don't know what she is, but she's a female. We got our first female vice president, who has, I think 2 German Shepherds or something. Not that matters. But the German Shepherds. But you look at something long enough, and then we all look at it as a society, and we fucking fix it as a whole. And then we move on with our new rights, and we continue to fix shit, you know? It just takes a little bit of time. And we'll get through that shit, bro. I don't know what the next thing's going to be. I mean, we got the Trans Lives Matter thing. It's still a thing. We're still trying to, work out what that really means, and that's new. But it's new, so we're trying to work through it. It's going to be probably something that's going on in the background during the whole thing because we're, still trying to adjust to the nuance of that acceptance. I have teachers I know who are dealing with kids who are wearing bracelets to school, and you're supposed to know what the bracelet means. Where it's if I'm wearing a blue bracelet today, I want to be a boy. But if I'm wearing a pink bracelet, I want to be a girl. And you have to see the bracelet. And if you say I'm a fucking girl when I'm blue, I'm going to be pissed. And they raise hell, and then that teacher gets in so much shit. But it's hard. I mean, that's you're just looking at a bracelet. But think of all the other shit that the teacher has to deal with, 90 other kids per day. And then they have to fucking remember that this kid wants to wear a bracelet. Look, dude, I'm happy that you want to identify as whatever you want. You could be a toaster. Yeah, I'll call you a toasty. But, realize that, it's difficult for people to have to change all their gears, And it's going to take some time, It's just going to take time.
I like to meme when I say this. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but I meme when I say this a little bit sometimes, but I actually hold this to be a world I'd like to see, is a gender abolitionist world. So the idea of sex and gender are separated. They're different things. Gender is purely a social construct built off of what people traits that people assign to sex, which I think is also kind of incorrect because sex is not a binary; it's bimodal. But gender specifically, I think the idea of it has caused a lot of problems for people, and I don't like the idea that anybody has to live in a world where they are identified by whether they're leaning more masculine or feminine or choose to in either direction. I don't think it's right that somebody needs to feel bad because they want to wear a dress, but society views most of their traits as masculine, being they have a penis or so that they were born
wear that.
That they were born with the sex male. That's a I don't like that there's a what's the word, dissonance. I don't like that there's a dissonance there for people. I think separating, or not separating, but completely axing that part of society out might be better for a lot of people's mental well-being. Even with toxic masculinity, the idea that you have to be stoic, you have to keep your emotions in and stuff. You
can't fucking cry.
Yeah, because that's feminine, and you're a man.
Yeah, dude, my dad used to make fun of the fuck out of me for crying, and I cried a lot.
I think that idea is really, really harmful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not.
In removing that from society might be best for a lot of people's mental well-being, because then you if you don't associate, if you don't say I am a man, which would be a gendered thing. Nobody ever says I have a penis or I was born with a penis. Nobody says I was born with a vagina. Sure. They always say I am a man, I'm a woman, I am. Yeah.
Could you imagine if that's what it said on the little resume when you're filling it out? It's do you have a penis?
Penis.
yeah. Where it just says do you have a and then P or V, and you're
P or V, bro.
P? I have a penis. It'd be a little strange. Yeah. I have noticed on resumes that it asks multiple sexes, or it'll say does not wish to disclose or other. But I also have seen it asks what do you wish to go by?
Yeah,
it's on there.
I think so pronouns are fine. him, her, he, she, or he, her, whatever you want to mix them, that's fine. If nobody knows to begin with, I don't think we need to do the whole bracelet thing. Sounds kind of like you're trying to start some shit.
That's what I felt like, but maybe I think that kid was trying to hide it from their parents.
Maybe. I think
I think that's what was disclosed, was that the kid was trying to hide it from their parents.
Any reasonable person that sounds really bad. Any person who's not acting in bad faith should probably give the benefit of the doubt, and like when they're in because
we're not perfect, dude. I mean, sometimes my fucking parents will call me, my mom to my face will call me Mariah. I'm not gonna get fucking mad because she called me my sister's name. I'm just like, and I just keep listening because I know she knows who I am. She's not like, having brain issues where she fucking doesn't know who I am. She just is caught up with other shit, dude. My stepmom, my whole life, has called me Eddie. On and off, not, every time. Her son's name is Eddie. I'm also her son. She calls Eddie Ronnie all the time.
There's a
it's like, it's okay.
There's I think a psychological phenomena that explains that
when I exhibit a trait that, like, he does, or
well, not so much that, but like when a parent is talking to their child and they call them by the wrong name, it's because you have a pool of like associations in your head. So when you associate someone you love, with a certain neuron firing in your brain, right? So you being someone that they love, their neuron fires and they blurt out the wrong name. It's just because they associate you on like the same level as that person. So if it's a person, if it's one of their other children, I mean, it could mean that they hate all their fucking children, but it could also mean like they love you all, and like when they're going to address you, the wrong name fires because it's both associated with love, something like that. I mean, I'm not a fucking psychologist, so I don't know. That's what I've heard.
That makes sense in some degree, I don't know. I'd never make that mistake, and I love all my family, but I'm really sorted. I'm a really cognitive person.
Yeah. You're trying to call your mom non-cognitive?
Yeah. Dude, my mom does some shit, bro. I mean, she watched all these cars break down, and then she was like, I'm going to go drive in the ice. So like, okay. And then her car broke down. So it was like, come on, like, you saw that coming, right? You didn't see all those signs? And then she was like, I should have known. I was like, why do you have to always learn in hindsight? Can't you just learn by, like, seeing the clear evidence that was a bad idea to begin with, so you shouldn't do it?
Your mom...
I didn't go to work 2 days in a row. I said no to going to work 2 days in a row, and I denied going to an interview because of the weather conditions.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not doing this.
It was horrible.
And then everything was fine. They paid me for not going to work, and I had to use PTO on one day, but not on the other. And then they rescheduled the appointment. Everything was fine. I didn't have to fucking go anywhere. You just gotta fucking think a little bit. Look, I love my mama. My mom's the best, but
your mom is an advertiser's wet dream. you could put like,
dude, the amount of clearance shit she brings home is insane.
If you put a discount sticker on something, she'll buy it. She'll get it just in case somebody at home wants it, because it's so cheap. You're saving money.
Check this out. She bought a completely inflated grape soda for 26 cents. Completely inflated. You know how like the bottom could pop out, because it's like aluminum or whatever?
Yep.
Just completely inflated, 26 cents, and she was stoked about it. And I was like, why did you buy this? Like, I look at that and I'm like,
she doesn't like grape soda. I don't like grape soda. Nobody here likes grape soda. Why'd you get it? Well, it was 26 cents.
That's exactly what she said, was that it was 26 cents. How could I pass it up? So it was like, for me, I look at that and I'm like, that's not, that could go to somebody, but it's not going to me. And if no one's going to drink it, we should pop it, drain it, recycle it.
Yeah.
Get it over with, And look, it's cool that she's gonna like eat, I guess, whatever she wants, and like but she usually buys an abundance of shit that we don't want, like that PDA Preeier.
Perrier, I think.
Jenna drank one of those, spit it out, and dumped it out.
Well, to be fair, I was there when she did that. She put.
No one else has had one.
She
That's
put
my point.
she put a fucking
only
water
one,
flavoring packet in it.
Yeah, she put fruit punch flavoring into a.
It started
Perrier.
like overflowing
because she shook it up. It's not my fault. I mean, she should have fucking thought it's a carbonated drink. You shake it up, it's gonna fucking get fizzy.
Honestly, I can't fault her because I've done some goofy shit like that in the past, where you're like, huh, this might be a good idea, and then you put things together, and you're like, oh fuck, no,
should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
But the thing is that only one of those has been drunk. There's a 6-pack. There's 5 left. It's been like 3 months.
Nobody likes carbonated water, dude.
It sucks. Stop pretending like fucking LaCroix is good.
Yeah, it's gross.
It sucks ass.
Put some fucking flavoring in it, and you're fine.
You know what they need? They need Sprite without high fructose corn syrup. Just Sprite with no high fructose. None of that. The syrupy flavor needs to go away. Take just Sprite and take that out, and it is probably going to be amazing. And the only reason why we like Sprite is that little citrusy with the carbonation. But it's not that fucking filthy shit that they give you that's carbonated water. It's like another level. It's like it tastes drinkable.
It's got a flavor in there. So I think it's like there's carbonation. I think it's like what I don't know what they use in it. I don't know what makes the carbonation. Is that sodium bicarbonate? It's whatever it is. It's bitter as fuck. It's so bitter, it's jarring. That's why you need sweetness or acidic or something else.
Yeah, your body rejects it. Like my body is like,
when something doesn't taste good, it's usually because your body is like, oh fuck, bro, no, that's not good for us. Get that the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
even medicine and shit. But I mean, you're not supposed to be taking medicine when you're okay. So
you're not supposed to enjoy medicine.
Yeah, like it's to fix a specific issue. It's not fucking Flintstone vitamins where it's like you're gonna be munching on those bitches. Like
no one should be eating Flintstone vitamins in plenty.
I disagree.
The orange one was that good.
The orange one was good.
We used to have
the grape one was good too.
I was gonna say grape, but we were talking about grapes, so I was trying to avoid it.
Yeah, fuck grapes, bro.
I don't like grape flavored almost anything. One time Drew bought a Henry's, like the alcohol soda, and it was grape, and I fucking wanted to spit that out, and it ruined. He bought like a whole 6-pack, and I was like, what a waste of $9. This tastes like medicine, and he loves it. I mean, the orange one's okay, but it's fucking filthy. My point, what I was gonna say, was that I used to have these little citrus shaped, like they were like slices of oranges shaped vitamin C pills that you were supposed to like let dissolve or chew.
Yeah. I think I know what those are.
Fucking disgusting. My mom used to have us eat those for vitamin C when we were sick, and we were like letting those dissolve.
Just buy oranges, Mom. Just buy oranges.
It would take forever to dissolve, and you weren't supposed to chew it, I don't think. But it was so fucking gross. Medicine's come a long way too, man. I remember one time I got this medicine that was straight up looked like gravy, like sausage and gravy, that you put on like biscuits. It looked like that, but it tasted like straight like poison. It didn't taste like you should be eating that. And it was chunky too. Nice. And it was for something. It was for some like fucking random thing that was happening to me. I think my hands were swelling up or something, and they were like, you need this. It looked like something that would have been in Harry Potter. And they were like, take this and your bones will grow back. You know?
The fucking pumpkin juice or whatever it was.
No, the bone grow back thing was Skelegrow.
I think it was made out of pumpkin juice though.
No, she says it doesn't taste like pumpkin juice. I think is what she said. It was like, we watched it like 2 days ago or whatever, but the bottle was a fucking skeleton dude.
That would help.
And she was like, oh yeah, it's going to help your groans back. It doesn't taste like pumpkin juice or whatever.
Take this fucking pill. It doesn't taste like goddamn pizza. Stupid little pussy.
Like saying that doesn't help. Yeah.
It's like, thanks.
It doesn't taste like that.
Tell me what it does taste like. God damn. Tell me something I can associate it with that's not
like I mentally prepare
like
myself.
Like a piece of shit.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like pumpkin juice. Great. I've never had it, so why? Okay, great. Yeah, they also said, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of when they were, what's his name? Moody Mad-Eye Moody was drinking his little like apologies potion, and they're like, "No, I bet that's not pumpkin juice."
Oh yeah, there were like goopy shit.
Yeah,
that looked like just mud. I feel like I remember it looking muddy. Like mud.
Yeah,
it was like lumpy,
yeah, I think
lumpy
it was.
fucking mud.
Yeah. Me and Kaylee were talking about how Harry Potter's
broken jar. Wasn't there one of those jars or glasses like broken, so there's only like a little bit left or something? Like when they were changing into fucking the other kids.
Oh yeah, Crab and Goyle.
Yeah, and like one of the jars got broken or something, and it was like all goopy and shit. It was like ugh.
Oh, maybe
you. It's like they put like they put like
beans
7 scoops too many into the fucking into the milk, like 7 scoops too many of the chocolate powder into the milk. Yeah.
I didn't really have that as a kid. I don't think.
I don't know.
Maybe I did. That's still pretty gross that you can like quick fashion milk. No, didn't you put the powder in the milk?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought. I didn't know if it was milk and water or powder and water.
Oh, that's powdered milk.
Isn't that gross that we can make powdered versions of things? That doesn't gross you out? Like powdered cheese for Kraft? Isn't that fucking gross?
I don't think so. I think it's just advances in technology that like just a thing in the world, man. You can take
powdered mashed potatoes.
Yeah, you can take the hydration out of the rest of the ingredients. All you have to do is add water to it.
That's nasty.
Yeah, but you're like you're over here like
isn't that gross?
Eating that fucking GMO free organic like bullshit. Fuck you, bro. You're everything that's wrong with this world.
You're like mad at me for eating like non-GMO. You GMO non-eating motherfucker.
You know what's really funny to me?
Clowns.
Gluten. No, clowns are horrifying to me.
You were gonna say. Yeah, like just keep going so we can all assume you like clowns.
No, fuck that. I'll never leave that unaddressed. Fuck that. I'm not.
Nobody. Drew's house. He has a lot of clowns in his house.
I'm not going to his house. Then now that you tell me, I don't care if he invites me over. I'll be like, "Fuck you, bro. Get that fucking carnival ass shit out of my life."
Like vintage clowns. They're like, it's kind of nice looking, but it sure is strange for a 25-year-old to be collecting clowns.
What so gluten, right? What is you probably have a better understanding of this than I do. What is the basis of gluten?
It's a wheat protein.
Right. So, do you think it's fucking stupid? Or sorry, do you think that advertisers think people are so fucking stupid that they will buy gluten-free steaks? Are you kidding me? You can put gluten-free on that? You think are people that dumb?
Well, you have to consider if it doesn't have it in there, it's gluten-free.
Yes, but they advertise it. They advertise it gluten-free.
Yes, because people who see it,
why are we like this?
It doesn't have gluten in it. I gotta have it. But there are people who have gluten allergies, and there are sometimes you wonder if it has gluten in it, and apparently it does. And I think there are a very, very small few people who have gluten allergies for real. It's kind of one of those things that it's kind of milked over the years, and then it's kind of starting to go away. But if it doesn't have it, you can put it on there. Peanut free. It's a corn chip, bro. Of course, it doesn't have peanuts in it. You don't have to put that on there. It's a waste of like ink. But they'll put it on there for assurance.
It feels so weird to me. Well, okay, this could be like a survivorship bias thing for me. Like. It feels so weird to me that like other people might look at a steak and be like,
"What is the gluten in there?"
I have. So
why would there be wheat protein in beef?
Why would some? Okay, so I think the one I'm digging down into this in my head. So I think one thing that confounds me is if somebody is gluten intolerant, they should know what gluten is, right? You would guess.
You would think.
So why would? Is anybody that is gluten intolerant? How many of those people who are actually gluten intolerant or just not eating gluten for whatever reason because they don't like the idea of it?
Yeah.
How many of those people looked at a steak and asked somebody, "Is this gluten free?" for the stores to be like, "Yeah, we have to put a sticker on that, bro. People keep asking this question."
I don't know.
Or do you think it's like gluten free is a new thing that people are like? They're all about it. Technically, meat's gluten-free. Let's put the fucking sticker on it, bro. Let's do it.
Have you seen gluten-free on a steak?
Yes. At fucking Kroger. At Kroger. It's the they're all over the fucking like little packages of meat, pork, like
I don't know,
beef,
man.
all that stuff, and it says gluten free. And I'm like, this is the meat department.
But
nothing here is anything but meat.
Everything's everything free. Look, there are certain sales that are probably going down.
Uh-huh.
People are we talked about the enlightenment and like the consciousness rising.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I think there's probably a little bit of loss in sales in probably certain areas. Probably not everywhere. But let's say like red meat's probably going down. Sure. I know red meat is not nearly as popular as it used to be. It's processed food. And red meat is pretty well known to not be great for you. A lot of people give it up. We still know that fish and bird is still okay for us. But red meat is pretty debated as being healthy or unhealthy. They're probably trying to get some market back in some way. And idiots who read gluten-free,
they're like, ooh, fancy.
Are like, oh my god, it's healthy.
It's like with a vegan sticker. Like, things that are vegan if they put vegan on it.
But it was cabbage, so it's vegan. So you don't have to put vegan sticker on it.
Yeah, but they will.
But they might. What you would put would be hopefully organic or non-GMO on it, because we don't always know that shit. But, man, you would think that if it said 100% hemp, it wouldn't have to have a line on the box that says no tobacco, because it's 100% hemp. Are the ingredients 100% hemp? It is. Is there tobacco in it? Did I say there was? No. Well, then why does there need to be no tobacco on it?
Yeah, why are you putting that sticker on there, bro?
Now I'm a little suspicious.
It's making it a little sus.
It's a little sus. Yeah, man, I think it's just a method of selling. It's like it's only there to sway people into buying it because it doesn't have gluten. It never did. It's like I'm so confused by the same thing, or I used to be until now. I'm like, well, it's probably just a sales tactic.
Yeah.
To try to get people to buy shit that does or doesn't have it.
I want to believe
like everything says works with 4K now at an electronics store.
Yeah, but everything should already.
But like if it's like a flash drive, why does that need to be on there? Because you're not processing it in 4K. It's a flash drive. You're storing data. It's not like it wouldn't accept 4K data. It's just going to drop in there. Then you're going to dump it somewhere else. The file didn't go in 4K and pop out 1080p, bro. Why do you don't need 4K on there? But they will put that shit on there because they're like, I don't know, man. Or maybe people aren't buying our shit because they don't think it's 4K. Maybe they do fucking little surveys and people are like, does flash drives, can they process 4K? And you're like, I don't know, it's a flash drive. No. They're like, put 4K on that bitch. I don't know. But I see that, and I don't know why it's on there, other than that people think that it didn't have 4K capabilities of storing 4K movies or some shit. I have no idea.
I want to believe that it's actually advertising to like try to sway a few people who are...
Not that people actually believe it.
Yeah, not that people are not that so many people are stupid that the product, the people who manage the product or the advertising for the products are like, we need to put some sticker on here because people are really so dumb they keep calling up and clogging up our phone lines with, is this 4K compatible? It's with
clogging up our phone.
Yeah, like we need.
I'm sorry, we're experiencing higher than normal call volume. Your hold time is 45 minutes. Hey, this is Roger, customer service. How can I help you? Hey, does this have 4K on it? God damn it! Like,
you don't understand.
Of course it does, you fucking turd.
I would like the small part of me that's optimistic wants to believe.
You think there's only a small part of you that's optimistic?
I'm very pessimistic, dude.
I kind of am too, but I'm learning to be a little more optimistic. My wife has made me significantly more optimistic.
You're far and away more optimistic than I am.
You think so? That's good.
100%, yeah.
I used to be very, very, very pessimistic.
I think probably the amount of pessimism you hold compared to your optimism is probably the amount of pessimism I hold in compared to my optimism. Like, it's the same ratio, just flipped.
We're a good balance then.
I don't know, maybe. Yeah.
We're like little like DNA strands, bro. We balance each other out. Yeah. Then we compose a perfect Errin and Ronnie entity.
Ronnie.
Erroneous.
Ronrin.
Ronrin. That sounds like a rape hentai title. Ronrin. And then you look at the fucking the image, and I'm being held up in the air by some tentacles that look like a connection of condoms. And the rapper, you know.
What is I don't understand where the why tentacles?
All right, we're gonna wrap it up for the.
We're gonna go do some research on tentacle porn.
Yeah, we'll come back. That's the next podcast. We'll talk about tentacle hentai. Yeah, maybe the whole next podcast we could just talk about hentai. Look, this podcast, I'm
I don't know. I've seen some weird hentai. I don't know if I'm comfortable disclosing that. I'll talk about the morality of shooting people who come into your house like all day. But
not what type of
you want to dig
watch.
into my search history? I don't know, brother. I don't know.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up so we don't have to talk about tentacle hentai. It's been 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Next time, we'll talk about determinism. You dropped a bunch of free will. All right, you dropped that term a bunch of times.
I'm trying to like sneak that in there and not get argued. And not get argued
I'm getting
by someone.
Fucking blue balled on determinism, dude. You're over there like, yeah, we all have free will, you know, and I'm like, well, okay, yeah, just keep going. Yep. We'll talk about it after. All right, I'm gonna engage with something else that you talked about. All right, we'll talk about that next.
Talk about. I think we did talk about free will a lot because I'm huge on free will, man. Because I want people to have choice.
You know what? And it probably
but
comes
you just
down
said too that you want like people to be able to have like their sexes open, man, and like or their genders open and shit.
Well, I'm talking about the societal pressures on those kind of things.
They should have the free will to do whatever the fuck they want.
You know what it probably comes down to? We believe about the same thing, but we just use different terms to define it.
Yeah, like perfect simultaneity. You're like, where's the perfect come from? Because it sounds cool, dude.
Yeah, I don't know where you got perfect, bro. It sounds cool.
It's the coolest shit ever.
All I keep reading is just simultaneity.
Yeah, but like
and you're like, perfect simultaneity. And I'm like,
because it couldn't
bro,
be
that
more,
sounds dank as
if it was simultaneous, it couldn't be more perfect. Like the perfect just describes what is already happening, you know? It's like an over explanation.
That's like when you say predeterminism. It's like, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just determinism. You can drop the pre part,
it's just not like irregardless. Like someone who says like adds the extra.
Irregardless.
You never heard that?
No, I have. It annoys the shit out of me. When
I heard a lady say it the other day, and I was this close to correcting her, but she was mad.
Like, bro, it's actually regardless. The ear in that word doesn't mean anything.
So I was just like letting her go. I was like, okay, keep talking, I guess.
Irregardless. Stop.
What are you living in the fucking dark ages? You're saying some shit like that.
I came to the store. Somebody stepped on my foot. An employee stepped on my foot. Another one came up and pepper sprayed me. Someone kicked me right in the asshole. And like it's like, irregardless of that, it's, whoa. I don't give a fuck about anything you're saying right now. We need to go over this irregardless thing. That's some bullshit. You can either we're gonna fix this or you're getting out of my store. I don't care. I'll pepper spray you.
Because you're gonna keep fucking up if you're gonna keep saying irregardless.
You say irregardless? I don't believe anything you're saying.
I like how we said we were wrapping up and then we kept going.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, we could talk about determinism next time, I guess, if you want. Maybe I feel a little bad for like saying things like they're facts. But they're facts to me, I guess. I mean, they're my obviously like my subjective.
I actually want to read. Did you finish biocentrism?
I am 2 chapters away from finishing it. You want it though? You want to like hold on to it? You want to
download a PDF, bro, and I'll read that.
No, read this one. You'll be over on. No, you'll be over Thursday. I'll finish it by Thursday. Take it Thursday.
Okay, and then I'll read that, and then we'll talk about that. Because all I have right now is fucking
the ethics of biocentrism.
You know what? I'm stupid for have done that, but you know what? I'm better off for have doing it. All right, have doing it, have done it, have done it, had done it. I'm better off. Fuck English, bro.
Okay, we're gonna talk about hentai next time.
Hentai, woo!
Hentai, determinism, and biocentric.
Oni-chan?
Oh, in the meantime, you should go watch all of Bible Black only.